Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot. It's your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We're all here sharing this human experience together. This is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here, so with that being said, if the message does resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggers may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, and keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. Your time and your energy are a true blessing and a gift today, and I'm honored to be sharing this space with you. So that being said, today's reading is how do the people around you see you but won't say? Yeah, how do the people in your life see you but won't say? So we're going to get into it, and I felt really called to using the wild unknown animal spirit today. So we're going to get messages from these cards, but let's open with our prayer. And we'll get this underway for you today and see what comes out. All right. Okay, my beloved source, this prayer is for any and everyone who comes onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. Today I ask that you help lift us up to this space of knowing that truly the only thing that matters is how we see ourselves. It's understandable that we want to tap into how other people see us because we're social creatures by nature. We grew up in a society. We grew up surrounded by others, and it's natural for us to want to know how everyone around us sees us. And while these readings are purely for fun and for entertainment, sometimes they can also bring really harsh messages and harsh realities to our attention that maybe we've been spending a lot of time putting on the rose-colored glasses or hoping and praying that what we were seeing wasn't the truth of the situation, but just our imagination. But sometimes what's being reflected back to us isn't pretty. It isn't wonderful. It isn't love in and of itself. But it doesn't mean that we aren't love at our core. And it doesn't mean that we aren't worthy of being seen through loving eyes. And it doesn't mean that we aren't worthy of receiving love and kindness in our lives. That truly sometimes this reflection only comes with the choice of how we're going to choose to treat ourselves. Not what we're going to do to keep said relationship in our lives, not what we're going to do to appease said people in our lives, not what we're going to do to ensure that everyone else feels comfortable, but truly so that we can come into an aligned state of being and be comfortable, loving, honest, and respectful to ourselves. So today I ask that you open up our hearts to this truth and that the words fall upon our ears gently and in a way that we're ready to receive them, no matter what may come, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly. As these words are spoken upon this tribe and onto this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. I was going to say my beloved life. That's so funny. I guess in truth it is, right? Source is our life. So yeah, I'm excited. I found these two beautiful feathers yesterday on the beach. I am definitely down south right now, and the weather has been absolutely gorgeous, but we're also under this incredible winter watch that is sweeping across the states. And so for anybody that is also finding themselves in the midst of this winter weather, severe or not severe, but are still under this winter weather watch, please stay warm. Please be safe. Don't have any unnecessary travel out in the snow, sleet, or freezing rain. You know, keep yourself safe, and remember that that is the most important thing, you being safe, okay? So I feel like I needed to say that, but we'll get into it. Something about birds for sure coming through. Let's see what comes through for you guys today. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Source, what would you like to share with us today in regards to this message? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Okay, thank you. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Something about honing in is important right now. Yeah, how do the people in your life see you but won't say? All right, pile number 1. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? What oracle card will help us better understand this message today, source? Pile 1. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Thank you. Okay. Pile number 2. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Thank you. Right away. Ready to come out, pile 2. All right, pile number 3. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? What oracle card will help us better understand this message today? All right, thank you. And I'm not sure what these feathers are. I think this one's a seagull feather, and I think this is one of these little birds that run all over the ocean. They're so cute. They're so adorable. But anyways, let's see what the collective energy is. Oh, I love this. We have the dolphin. Yes. So people in your life right now, they see you as this very happy person, but also very intimidating because you have an ability to know what they're thinking or how they're feeling around you. So you could be an acute empath. You could have the psychic ability to tap into them on a deeper level. You could also have telepathy in some way, shape, or form, but most of the people around you, how they see you is someone that's very happy, very bright, very intelligent, very smart, very sociable, wants to connect with people. Oh, I do feel like there is some energies here where they're seeing this from the outside looking in. It's as if they're looking in, you know, from outside of this ability to tap into that energy with you. So they're not able to tap into that happiness with you, and they're not able to share that happiness with you. Now, that could come because there are some people in your energy that aren't happy that you're in this, but that could also come from people who are maybe on the sidelines, and they're still a part of your life, but they could be on the sidelines, you know, like coworkers, what is it, the side characters in our lives. And that's something that's coming in here. How the people in your life see you but won't say is that you're a very emotionally profound person. You have a lot of emotional depth to you, and you've grown emotionally in a very short time as well. It feels like you've gone from maybe being controlled by your emotions to now being the ruler or the handler of your emotional responses and reactions. They're no longer who you are, but something that you experience. And you're able to maintain a very level energetic approach in life where, you know, even if life is chaotic, falling apart and going crazy and everything is blowing up in front of your face, you're still very centered and grounded in who you are, and you're able to fluidly move through these situations with grace, with poise, with clarity even. When most people feel like they'd fall apart, they're watching you get messages from beyond and able to really focus your energy on stepping into that next part of your chapter, part of your journey. And there are a lot of people here who feel left behind, but they're also in this state of knowing that they cannot keep up with you because they're not doing the same type of work, self-realization, self-honor, and all these things. They're not doing that same type of work that you're doing. And so, of course, they feel left behind because you're not stopping, nor should you ever stop for someone else or for a group of people just because they're not willing to ask what it takes or who have too much pride to make a change, right? Pride is a interesting thing. It's not a bad thing, but it can be a downfall. And I feel like there's someone in particular or a few people here where their pride is definitely their downfall, and they're letting it get the best of them while they're watching you flourish on your journey. All right, let's see what this has further to say from the book. Sharp Swan. Dolphin. Ooh, I love this. Innately intelligent. Yes, a healer. You're a light being, and you bring blessings. It says the gift of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of the spirit. Yeah, you might be a very acute empath. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming into contact with a dolphin type will change the entire course of your day and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on its way. So when in balance, you're an active healer and you have a strong spiritual sense and a spiritual practice. When out of balance, you underestimate your own power. To bring into balance, getting together with like-minded spirits. And I feel like that's definitely something that if you have not yet been able to connect with like-minded people, that is something that is coming on your journey for sure. Or at least being able to connect with like-minded guides that are helping to lift your vibration as well. These very powerful energies, it feels like, coming in. But I do feel like there is a sense of intimidation at some point from others because of this presence that you have. But also there's so many people that have benefited from your healing that they cannot turn a blind, like there's just no turning a blind eye to the magnificence of your energy as it enters their life. Okay. Yeah, so I found these two beautiful feathers yesterday and I'm so excited to use them today. All right, let me make sure we're in frame here. The camera. Okay, so for pile 1, we do have this dice with Venus on it for you to choose from. We have this feather. I don't know what bird this is from, and I will hopefully find out soon. I just was so drawn to it. It was actually floating in the ocean, and it was in the where the tide was coming in, and the tide was really shallow, and it was just kind of floating in the water going back and forth, and I couldn't stop looking at it, and so I ended up picking it up. Where I'm at right now is actually by a bird sanctuary. So there's tons and tons of birds that fly around here. All right, pile number 2, we do have this dice with Saturn on it for you to choose from. Or we have this piece of amethyst. And pile number 3, we have this dice with the South Node showing. Or we have this beautiful feather for you to choose from. And I'm not sure if this is a seagull's feather or not. It could be. But I had to pick it up because there were tons of black feathers all over, but this was the only one that had this white streak on it, and it, again, caught my eye. I mean, there were tons of feathers yesterday, but I only picked up these two because these two were just very unique to me, and they stood out quite a bit. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Venus on it, perhaps you were drawn to this feather. I don't know what this belongs to. Or maybe you were called to this card during the shuffle This is going to be your reading on how do the people in your life see you but won't say. I would like to first say we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel. So with that being said, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves, and there's no obligation to force it to fit. Remembering that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true blessing and a gift, and I'm honored to be here sharing it with you. So let's hop to it and find out, what do the people in your life, or how do the people in your life see you but won't say? Source, what would you like to share with us today in regards to this message for pile number 1? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? 5th house. Just wanting to make an entrance by itself for a minute here. They do see you as a leader. I do also get this energy that there are some people in your life who find you highly dramatic, like as if you like drama or you're trying to create a lot of drama. I don't feel like that's actually who you are. I feel like what's happening here is that you're reflecting a lot of that back to others. And sometimes what happens when we set boundaries, people try to blow that out of proportion when it doesn't fit their agenda and make it seem like we're in the wrong, when in reality we are not. And that's what this feels like here, is that the people who do feel like you're dramatic, or you like drama, or you like to create problems, I feel like it's because you're mirroring that back to them. And so that's what they're not going to say, is that they feel like you're very dramatic, like you got to always have to say something. But honestly, I feel like you saying something is always 100% of the time in response to some kind of reaction that they're having to you being you. And that's what it feels like. But there are some other people here who do feel like you're a leader. You're very passionate. You're very fun. You are tapped into your inner child. You like to joke and play, have a good time, but you also get very serious when necessary. There's also this energy where the people in your life feel like you're always the center of attention. Like no matter where you go, you always command attention. And it's not necessarily something that you're going out of your way doing. Like part of that can come from the confidence that you have about yourself and the confidence that you have about where you're at in your life. But also I feel like that really greatly boils down to your energetic body, and the energy that you present is something that naturally people gravitate towards. And so a lot of people are really in awe about that. But there's also a few people here who are highly jealous of that with you. Yeah, okay. So not surprised with Libra and Saturn coming out. Yeah, there's people here who feel like, you know, they're very superficial and they're seeing you command this attention. And so some of the people in your life are watching as you're just effortlessly creating a lot of, like, it's almost like in high demand, you know, like you're the show that everybody wants to turn on, or you're the episode that nobody wants to miss. You're the character that everybody falls in love with. Like I said it earlier, I don't feel like that's you going out of your way. It's just the more that you heal and the more that you align with your journey, the more authentic you become. And that authenticity is a commanding presence in and of itself. And people who are superficial, which we're seeing here with this Libra energy, right? And Libra is interesting because when it's in its shadow, it's very superficial. Mixed in with Leo dramatics, that becomes a recipe for mess and chaos. And so we have that mess and chaos being presented here. Not only that, we also have Saturn showing, which is where we're seeing you've already had very difficult dynamics with the people in your life. And you've had to choose the lessons you've learned, right? You've had to choose whether or not this was worth your time or worth your effort, worth your energy. There was a lot of tough love from source, if you will, but it was more or less treating how people treated you, or how maybe you allowed people to treat you without setting those solid boundaries. But we also have the planet of boundaries, right? Setting those boundaries and saying enough is enough, and being very strict and restrictive in the access to you. And now that energy is getting mirrored back to others. That's what I was saying with the fifth house just wanting to show itself right in the beginning. I was already getting this energy of all these people who are saying you're dramatic. You're actually mirroring back who they are to them. And it's not that you're dramatic. I feel like you're just standing in your power and your authentic self. So when you respond to their chaos, they're thinking, oh, pile one is so dramatic. Oh my gosh, here they go starting crap again. Here they go being this, superficial person again. But you're not. You're actually a very profound person who admires and prioritizes balance and groundedness above everything else. And I feel like when people show up in their state of authenticity, there's a deeper resonance between you and these people who are on the same level as you, or who are in a very similar energetic vibration as you, where things are very peaceful. They're very zen, very calm. There is no imbalance between the two of you. And if imbalance does come to pass, it doesn't leave you at an impasse with them. It's something that the two of you will rise together and come back to that state of balance, because that's the natural state of things between you and this other energy that is on the same vibratory level as you. It's because you both want to stay in harmony with one another. You always want to be in a state of harmony with yourself, but that harmony is interfering with other people's disharmony, or the disharmonious energies that they're carrying within. And because your natural state is to stay grounded and in balance, they're trying to create chaos to bring you out of balance so that it resonates with where they're at. And so how they're seeing you is vastly different from actually who you are. They're seeing you from their own wounds and their own projections of what they assume you're going to do or be, because they do not understand the state of healing that you've reached. These are individuals who don't have a journey of healing before them. They're not going to take it seriously because two things: they're ignorant to the journey. And ignorance is bliss, right? Like it is. It's bliss until you know. And once you know, you can't go back. But I feel like they're doing everything in their power to diminish what it is that you've done on your own journey. And it's interesting that these are the people that are coming through, because I feel like you're actually surrounded by more connections that are imbalanced than you are by balanced connections. So when I see balanced connections, I see one, maybe two energies that are in resonance with you. And Source isn't worried about those because you guys have shown up from a state of love and truth and authenticity. But these other ones that Source is talking about, yeah, there's a lot of feeling burdened here. Now with the Sun, we could be looking at the father. We could be looking at a grandfather here. We could be looking at someone who's a Leo. Again, Leo already coming out in the reading here. Could have the Sun in Leo. Okay, you could have the Sun in Leo. This is a situation that's confining for both of you. Wow, we have the mother and the father. The great godmother and the great godfather coming through here with the sun and the moon. Yeah, so how do people in your life see you but won't say? They see you as mysterious. They see you as secretive, but they also see you as confining, binding, creating a prison where they cannot be who they are. But the truth is that they are allowed to be who they are, but if who they are is inauthentic, that is immediately going to get mirrored back. You cannot change that about yourself because you've already done the deep purge. You've already done the cleansing. You've already gone in and understood your emotions. And so while at times they see you as someone in awe, they're like, wow, look at pile number one. They have so much wisdom. They're very clear about who they are. But when they're not able to get the reaction out of you that they want, or when they have an agenda that's not getting fulfilled by you by trying to manipulate you or create a situation where you backed up against the wall, then all of a sudden all these other thoughts come through and they're like, oh, here goes pile number one, creating a really difficult situation where there doesn't have to be one. But it's everything that they're saying about you is how they're showing up in the connection. And so, but they're not ready to see that. right? They're not ready to see that, nor may they ever see that. I mean, I hope they do. We all hope that they do, but we can't force that on someone, right? It's like the harder you push for someone to take accountability for themselves, the harder they're going to push back and make it everybody else's problem. Yeah, you're very aware of this. Very clear here. The other thing is that the people in your life do see you as very psychic, very tapped in, very tuned in. And I feel like there's a lot of, there's two things. There's the people who are in awe of that. Like, wow, pile one is very clear about spiritual messages, their spiritual journey, their spiritual routine, spirituality in general, tapping into what's beyond the veil. And then there are people who wish that you weren't. They wish that you did not know who they were, because maybe at one point in your journey you were able to, or they were able to hide their truth from you, even though your intuition knew it, but you might not have been listening or trusting your intuition at that time. And so your ego, in order to protect you, is trying to convince you that everybody around you was a good person until you got hurt or broken. And broken, I'm using loosely here because we're never truly broken, but that feeling of brokenness is a reality for some of us, right? And so that feeling of brokenness coming through when that became a situation where you were like, okay, I know this person is no longer good for me, right? But your intuition was always trying to hint at, this is not a sound, safe situation. But until you learn to trust your intuition, you weren't necessarily setting solid boundaries with these individuals. Yeah, family for sure. Okay, with the Judgment card, we do see family. That's the other thing too, is that I think that the people in your life are in this state where there's a lot of dirty laundry that's getting aired out right now. And it's not like you're going and spreading everybody's business. That's not what it is. But the scariest thing is that you have fuel against them. And they see you holding all that fuel. All those those launches, those attacks, holding them at your beck and call, your disposal. You get to pull the trigger when you want to. And you have it. And they're building up. And they keep building up. And they keep building up. And so I feel like the people in your life, how they see you is someone that can absolutely destroy them. And they're doing everything that they can to try to bring you back down to your knees, to take you down a notch. And this is by creating that chaos, creating that drama, creating that uncertainty. But we see here with the Popess on the bottom of the deck, I mean, look, you got all mystery cards coming out for your reading. This huge energy pile one. You've been surrounded by a lot of really low vibrational people for maybe a long time. And I'm so sorry that that's been your reality for a long time, because that's not easy to deal with. How do you find yourself in a situation where everyone is going out of their way to make sure that you become some version that they're comfortable with or that they can use and manipulate, right? How do you find yourself in all of that? But somehow you did. And the two things that are true here is that you've done emotional healing and now you're emotionally mature, and that you have psychic abilities. You are very intuitive. You are very tapped into how these people are treating you. And so when you stop them in their tracks and you say enough is enough, they get mad. And what they're not saying is, and I feel like they're not saying it to you, but I do feel like they're trying to spread rumors that you're very dramatic. You're very hard to talk to. You can't reason with pile one. You can't even, pile one is just going to go out of their way to make you feel like crap because that's what they do with me. And that's not the truth. The truth is that you're starting to set boundaries, and these boundaries impede with their ulterior motives. And they can't get their way with you any longer. And that noise is something that you continue to walk away from time and time again. And so how the people in your life see you right now, again, I do feel like there's, again, one, maybe two energies that are on the vibratory level that you are, and they're absolutely astounded by you. They're in wonder of you, and they're in awe of you. But There's a lot of energies around you right now that are trying to diminish your light. And the unique thing about you, pile one, is that your light is in the darkness. So even though you're a light worker, you traverse darkness like the back of your hand. You know it well. You walk in the shadows. And I hear that, again, not to make this religious or anything, but I hear that Psalms, is it Psalms or Proverbs? And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. And I'm hearing that right now. It's like you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Like you have found comfort in the shadows. You've found comfort in the darkness. And they're showing me that because it's like you're walking through a valley of souls that are untethered to themselves. And they're reaching out to try to confine you. They're reaching out to try and capture you, to cage you, to keep you down, because your light it's glaring in the darkness. It's not that you're walking in the midst of day. You are the day in the darkness. And that is why it's so easy for you to stay in this energy of keeping a low profile. And I feel like most of the things that you celebrate alone. You celebrate your wins alone, because there's not really a lot of people that you can share your wins with who are genuinely gonna celebrate you, who are genuinely gonna be like, wow, I'm so proud of you, pile number one. I can't believe that you did that. Like, we should go out and get a couple drinks, or we should go out and have your favorite dinner or your favorite dessert or whatever, like, let's throw a little party because this deserves celebrations. I feel like you go home and you maybe cook up your favorite food, or you order in your favorite food, and you have a little one person party for yourself, because the people around you just can't get their stuff together right now. Nor are they meant to be on the journey with you, but they do see you as the problem. And I feel like you're very aware that they think you're the problem, but you're seeing the truth of the situation. You're seeing how they're the ones that are stirring up chaos and trying to get you involved in it. And it's just not going to fly. So let's get some more. How do the people in your life see you, but won't say? On the bottom. Interesting. We have the moon in Cancer, and we have the moon coming out here with friendship. So this is what I was saying. Like, I feel like there's one, maybe two people in your life that you share a deep connection with, and you might not tell them everything because you're still learning how to trust again, and know that that's okay. I feel like these are people who are going to wait for you. They're going to wait for you to feel comfortable to share what you want with them. They're not going to push you. They're not going to force you. They're not going to create, chaos in your life, because I feel like they're also feeling that energy that's already in your life. But I feel like this is just confirmation from Source saying, like, yeah, there is at least a friend that you have in your life that is in awe of you and is amazed by your gifts and your talents and your abilities. And they might not say it, and it's not because they don't love you, but it's also because they want you to feel 100% comfortable with them and sharing those things with them before, they start like putting added pressure on you, like you have to perform or anything like that. Like, they don't want you to ever feel that way. So we did have Leo come out again. Self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. Again, pointing towards this could be the difficult energies you're dealing with. Could be someone who has a Leo sun. You could have a Leo sun, Cancer moon, a Scorpio rising. You could have a Pisces rising with a Scorpio moon and a Leo sun. So there's different ones that are coming through, or any variation of those. And if not, that's okay. On the bottom, yeah, Pisces. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you could be a Pisces dealing with a Leo. You could be a Leo dealing with a Pisces. Intimacy, intuition, and compassion. Yeah. So regardless of the drama that these people cause in your life, they see you as incredibly compassionate and intuitive, but also with some very deep psychic abilities that scares the living bejeebus out of them. Like, they just don't know what to do with that, right? They don't know what to do with your abilities. They think that, like, oh, if only they hadn't discovered that they had this gift, you were always destined to find your gift. Like, it was always destined to be uncovered, right? Pueo, yeah, you can connect with the other realm. You can connect with the spirit realm. It says your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance now, so pay close attention to the signs and omens with them. This also feels like a confirmation too that this could be family that you're dealing with in this energy. Again, it doesn't have to be, but it just feels like it. Or someone at some point that you considered to be close family. Okay? But you are healing ancestral wounds. But I also feel like maybe you pray to the ancestors, or you spend a lot of time in meditation with your ancestors, and they give you so much guidance. You could have a Cancer mother who gives you a lot of guidance that's coming in, or a Pisces mother that gives you a lot of guidance. Okay? I know that's super specific, but that's what's coming out. Yeah, a lot of transformation here. So the people in your life have seen you go through a lot of transformation, but I also feel like people don't want to say that. So like, if you, again, grown emotionally, if you've lost weight, if you've changed and you're more shiny and sparkly than you were before, right? Like taking better care of yourself and better health, or if you have gotten, toned and you gained muscle or anything like that, like whatever it is, I feel like you've definitely transformed. And there's this energy where there's people who don't want to say anything about that. Like, they just don't want to even talk to you about it. And I don't know if that's jealousy as much as it is, like, I keep hearing, I don't want to give pile number one a big head. Some people like to be like, oh, hey, you look good if you lost weight. Like, some people like that, like, but I guess that's just not a thing that people do as often anymore as they used to, because people are afraid of whatever it is, right? So... yeah, abundance. I'm a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in the physical reality. So the people in your life do see you as someone who has abundance in their life, as very abundant, and capable of manifesting things from thin air, it seems like, which you do. I mean, you're working really hard on yourself, working hard on your journey. Water, let the feelings flow. Yeah, this has to do with your emotions, though. Like, your emotional maturity has really put a damper on some people's agendas in your life, and they're really irritated about that. Yeah, hide. Look at this. Cheating, concealment, and misleading. Yeah, your emotional maturity has definitely unveiled the secrets of some people in your life, or the truth of who they are and what it is that they're trying to do. Interesting. We've got follow. And this always makes me feel like the ancestor card too. And I'm not sure why. I just always get that essence with this. But we have follow, instruction, instigation, and faith. And it could be because of the stars here. But this, again, is just showing that like you're trusting your faith in the situation. You're trusting your faith in your journey. And also working on your self-worth. Efforts will be rewarded. Within reach, success lies in hand. So, holding yourself in your value and your worth is also another reason why you're respecting yourself more, and you're not falling victim to other people's whims. Yeah, koi. Perseverance, good fortune, yin and yang, and ambition. So the people in your life do see you as ambitious. They see you as perseverant. They see you as abundant. They're not going to say these things. Let's get a few more of these and we'll see what comes through. Let's get one more. Okay, yeah. On the bottom of the deck, nightmare, suffering, darkness, and persecution. So this is that confirmation of you walking through the darkness. You walk through the shadows, right? Look at all these hands. Again, these hands reaching out towards you. And maybe that scared you for a long time, but I feel like now you can walk confidently, knowing your path, knowing your purpose, knowing that the shadow is not something to fear, but something to embrace and accept. And whether or not people are aware of this in your life, this is something that they do see at a soul level. And so that's something their souls recognize. And I feel like it feels like home. But you also have a battle of the egos versus the soul. And when the ego's trying to battle, the soul will step away. Because the soul's not going to fight that. Right? The soul's going to give you hints and it's going to let you make a choice. That's the free will. And so we see that the battle of the soul and the ego is going to win, because the soul's not going to try and go against that. So we have Venus in Capricorn with convention, confining. Look at this energy. Like, so it's confining, right? It's very restrictive. It's traditional. There's a lot of people here in your life that are very traditional, expect things to happen in a certain way, and you don't fit those traditional guidelines, and thus they feel confined. Interesting. Rattlesnake. Wow. The experience that you're presently going through are the initiation to fulfilling your purpose as a healer. And you know, if you didn't catch the collective message at the beginning, it is timestamped down below. It talked about being a healer in that one. But you might find some additional messages in regards to that message. If you feel called to, you'll find the timestamp down below. No obligation. But you are a healer, and that's why you're reflecting that energy back to a lot of people. Yeah, ancestors for sure. With Orca sun lines, there's something about the ancestors in you. They definitely are helping you, but you don't fit into your family. Like, you're this child here in this family of orcas. It's like you're a stranger. You're an alien to your family, if you will. And you've been alienated because of that, right? You've been ostracized because of that, because you see things differently. You're not trying to follow the conventional methods in life. This talks about it's also now your time to shine. So even though they're trying to make you fit into what they think life needs to be, you're now being given the space to do with your life what it is that you see fit. Perseverance again. So we got that on the bottom with the koi fish. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. So a lot of people are in your life right now. What they're not going to say is they see you as someone who's incredibly perseverant, who isn't going to give up just when things get tough. Fixed. Yeah, keep on keeping on. Yeah, so you're very much this energy of when you get fixated on something, you go towards it. You do not stop. We have Uranus. Expect miracles. You manifest all the time in your life. You're always manifesting. Self-love. Yes. Self-concern, self-healing, and independence. So also a lot of people in your life, how they see you is someone who takes self-care seriously. And that can be irritating, especially when people had been used to treating you a certain way when you didn't respect yourself. But they also see you as someone who's independent, and they're not going to say that. Why? Because their pride is getting in the way. Self-esteem, self-worth, and the ego. So when you have the ego going up against someone who has self-esteem and self-worth, the ego is going to lose every time. So the awakening was you respecting yourself here. Inducement, persuasion, bribe, and temptation. This is what people are used to doing when you were not in your strength, when you were not in your grounded energy. They were used to swaying you. They were used to giving you some sort of temptation, baiting and hooking you. And they can't do that now. Why? Because you know your worth. And so they're secretly upset because they're not able to get away with what they once got away with. But they're not obviously going to say that to you, right? They're going to act out, and I feel like there's a lot of them that have acted out. But at the end of the day, you already are aware of this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We have the Fox. You are cunning, witty, smart, and sly. You have outsmarted them at their own game. And there's no denying that. Right? Once you began to honor yourself, to love yourself, and see yourself, there was no denying that. All right. Where are you at, Foxy Fox? I love foxes. I think foxes are such a cool animal. One time I was driving on the road and I saw a mama fox and she had 3 cubs with her. And the first and only time I've ever seen that, I felt so blessed. Says smart, strong partner or mate, and a wise teacher, right? You reflect all that back to them. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, you're magical, you're an ingenious teacher, and you're monogamous. When out of balance, you can be sneaky and unsure of your identity. To bring into balance is partnership and connection. And so maybe it was finally getting someone who is on a vibratory level as you to begin to honor and respect yourself, even though you'd been working on self-love for so long. When we're working on self-love and we don't have another person who respects us, just naturally respects us because we're enough as we are, it's hard for us to believe that. And so sometimes we do need another person to come in and show us that we're worthy of love and respect in this moment for us to really stand up strong and powerful for ourselves. It's not that you're not learning what you need to, you are, but because we're social creatures, a lot of our strength and our wisdom actually comes from other people. It's not something that we can induce on our own. While there is a level that we can induce on our own through our journey, sometimes we really do need another person to come in. And that's all a part of the journey. It's all fixed, right? They'll come in when needed. And I'm also getting that statement that when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And I feel like you're also the teacher for a lot of these people, but there are still a lot of people that are teaching you along the way as well. But you have an incredible energy, pile number one, and you should always celebrate yourself. You deserve to do that. You're not a common type of energy, and that can feel rather lonely. But it's also really empowering because it just goes to show how truly unique that you are. Okay, so this is what I see here for you today, pile one. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little fox emoji down below and say, I choose to celebrate my witty, intelligent, ingenious self, knowing that I am a unique and wonderful person. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It'll have everything you need. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angels, source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very profound message. And until next time, pile number one, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Saturn on it, or perhaps you were called to this piece of amethyst, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on how do the people in your life see you but won't say. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel, so with that being said, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. And remembering that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. With that, your time and your energy are a true blessing and a gift, and I'm honored to be sharing it here with you today. So let's hop to it and find out, what do the people in your life, how do they see you but won't say? How do the people in your life see you but won't say, pile number two? Source, what would you like to share with us? All right. Interesting. So we've got the 6th house, we've got Leo energy, and we've got the North Node. Very powerful. Some of you may have also come from pile number one, just because Leo energy was highly aspected in pile number one. But the people in your life, how they see you but they won't say, they see you as someone who is very dedicated to your routines, to your journey, to taking care of yourself, to healing your inner child, to following your path of purpose. You're very dedicated. Even if you're not getting rewarded for your efforts, like, you're still showing up for your path of purpose. And it's not something that people in your life can deny, that you're doing something just because, like, you were always meant to do this. I am hearing music coming in, so maybe you play an instrument, or you sing, or, you know, maybe you compose songs, or you write lyrics or something like that. But it doesn't have to be. Music could just be a part of your journey that has really helped you get in line with whatever it is that you're meant to be doing, helping others. So music can also play into this idea of being able to touch others on a very emotional base. So, you're able to tap into their emotional well-being. You're able to help them in that sense. So there's any types of energies that are coming out here, the health field, health industry, psychological industry, the coaching industry. There's the wellness industry that's coming in here as well. So anything like that. It could even be some sort of invention that you're making, or some sort of thing that you are creating that's going to impact the world. And it does feel very big, whatever it is that you're doing. And the people in your life, how they see you, it's like, oh, pile 2 was always meant to go big or go home. Like, there was nothing about it. And they see you walking in that path, and they see you being a leader in the industry. They also see people who are willingly following you without hesitation, because you're bringing it in such a way that makes them feel like they can add this to their day-to-day routine. They can add this into their life. And not only is it going to impact them in a very positive way, it's also something very easy to include in their lives. And it's like you're not asking for much, but you're also asking for everything from a person. So when I say that, it's like maybe you're asking them to show up for 5 minutes every day, right? And you're saying, it's cool, I'm not going to ask you for much, but I am going to ask that when you show up for those 5 minutes, you give 100% of who you are that day. Even if today is only 50% of yesterday, or if today is 1,000% compared to yesterday, all I'm asking for is you give 100% when you show up for whatever this is. And it feels like small attainable steps. Okay, that's what this feels like. But regardless, it's you being you, and you're doing everything that you were always meant to do. And so the people in your life, how they see you, but they won't say, is that you're doing exactly what you were destined to do. You're walking on your path of purpose, and you stepped out into the unknown bravely, courageously, and fiercely, and you have a ton of self-confidence, and it's just become a part of who you are now. There's no separating you and what you do. This is who you are, and it's become a part of you. All right, let's see what the tarot says. How do the people in your life see you but won't say, pile number 2? Source, what would you like to share with us? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Emotionally stable, overcoming temptations, doing things differently than most people, standing out, being unique, building something of substance that's substantial. How do the people in your life see you but won't say, pile number 2? We have the nameless in reverse. How do the people in your life see you but won't say, pile number 2? Thank you. How do the people see you, and how do the people in your life see you but won't say, pile number 2? On the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Wands in the reverse. So, yeah, it's almost like this is what you were destined to do, but the people in your life see you as taking on a responsibility that might not be yours. Like I was saying, it feels very big. It feels very worldly, and like you're helping a lot of other people. And so there's people in your life right now that see you taking on a responsibility. It was never yours to take on, but somehow you're gladly shouldering it. Like it's something that affects other people. And I often wonder, is this a grand illusion? Is pile number 2 hoping to be some hero because of this? Are they hoping to gain something from it? And I don't feel like that's at all what you're doing. I just feel like this is what you felt called to do, and you started, and once you started, there was no going back. There was no changing the direction here for you. Yeah. So, how do the people in your life see you but won't say? There's like this energy where they see you as only doing this because you've been brokenhearted. Maybe you had a really bad relationship, or you had a relationship fall apart in a really bad way. Or every connection that you've been with has been very one-sided, disappointing, filled with betrayal and regret. And so a lot of people in your life, they see you as only becoming what you are now because of the people you've had to deal with, while also feeling like you're shouldering a responsibility that was never yours. Like, are you truly living your dream? Even though you were made for this. So they're seeing it as something very difficult that you went through, some sort of grief and some sort of hardship that you went through in the past is the path that led you here. But is this truly your dream? But you wouldn't have been who you are without the things that you experienced. And I feel like for you, it was having gone through those things that helped you realize there was something more out there. But the people in your life, they see you as being so capable of carrying this burden while at the same time asking why you're willing to take it on. And that's, again, self-projection, where they themselves wouldn't carry something like this. But for you, it feels very natural. It feels right. It feels like this is exactly what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling, even if people can't see it, or even if people have something to say against what it is that you're doing, or they're trying to talk you out of it. What's interesting, Pile 2, is that I don't feel like people actually come to you and try to talk you out of it. Again, we're talking about like the things that they don't say. I do feel like they do try to manipulate you emotionally, or they try to make it like maybe you, again, like you might not be getting rewarded for your efforts right now, but it doesn't mean that that's not going to happen. I feel like in that, so maybe you've been struggling financially, or maybe you've been struggling, physically in the world. And I feel like there's people here who use that to try to get you to stop taking on this responsibility that you've carried on your shoulders. But there's something bigger to it that's happening, because it feels like you're saying, or you have this belief within you that says, if I've gone through this, then how many other people have suffered alone in silence, without a hope, without a prayer, without understanding, without recognition? I know what that was like for myself, and I don't want another person to go through that. So if I can create something that brings people who go through this together, and offer that up as a reminder that we're not alone, and offer that up as a reminder that we can and we will get through this, I'm going to do that. But the people around you in your life are like, why? Why does it matter? You got through it. That should be the only thing that matters. Like, who cares about everyone else? And I feel like from your standpoint, it's like, why aren't we caring about everyone else? We're all in this together. You're a very unity mindset, and the people in your life are very individual mindset, and so it naturally comes across as incredibly selfish. And it's also something that's triggering their lack of connection within their own lives. And so they're seeing you connect with maybe strangers or people who you would have never met otherwise had you not gone through this. And they're seeing it as, well, that's not fair. Like, why does pile number 2 get to connect with all these people? But it's so much deeper than that. It's just like bringing hope to a situation where people didn't have hope. Bringing emotional balance to a situation that was emotionally unbalanced, where people were having difficulties seeing any good that could come from the bad that they were experiencing. And maybe you were like that too, Pile 2. Maybe there was a time where you were just like, there is no good in life. Like, everything is just filled with betrayal and regrets and grief and hardships. And It's everybody's fault because nobody wants to get their crap together. Nobody wants to get, themselves together. And everybody is too busy out there hurting everyone else. But something switched and you realized some sort of innate power that resides within. And when you began to tap into that power, it started leading you to be a hope in other people's lives. And I don't feel like you're that same type of inspiration for the people who are closest to you right now. And that's just because that's usually how it happens. And I wish I could say differently. I wish I could be like, yeah, it's the people who are closest to us that always want to see us succeed, but it's not. It's not. And I don't know why that is, except for that it's a part of our comfort zone. And in order for us to step into North Node energy, we have to step away from our comfort zone, which is oftentimes the people who have smiles on their faces, but have maybe blackness in their heart towards us. And I feel like these are the same people in your energy right now. Like they definitely, it's not that they're not mad. They're not mad that you survived. In fact, I feel like there's a relief that you survived the situation that you went through. But it's what it created within you. This passion, this spark, this drive that never ends. That's what now they're fighting against. Or they're trying to get that spark within you to diminish because they don't like where it's leading you. But it's not for them to like or to dislike. If it's something that drives you, then that's the only thing that matters. And I feel like, again, they're using it like, oh, well, you're struggling financially. Why don't you just put that on the back burner and go and get something that's stable right now? Like, or they drop all these little manipulative hints here and there. And they might not see it, again, as manipulation. They might be doing this with the best of intentions for you. Like, I don't want to see pile 2 struggle. I don't want to see them fall from grace. I don't want to see them fall apart at the seams because things are hard for them in the physical world. But they're not recognizing that the path that you're on is taking you somewhere really, really big. And so they really believe that you're delusional right now, or that you're not seeing the world clearly, and that's because of the emotional overload that you had with the situation that inspired this within you. So they believe that you're being led by your grief. They're not seeing you being led by the healing of the grief that's now turned to hope. And also, I feel like when people come to you, or you're able to help a person, like this could be as simple as even just smiling at someone or helping someone with their groceries. It doesn't have to be anything massive, but it could be. Like, it feels massive. But sometimes the smallest things feel like the biggest changes, right? And so it could just be something very, very simple that might not seem like a big deal, but it is impacting the people closest to you because they're seeing the change within you. And the change is that this is something that is very, very fulfilling. It's like I finally found who I am again in this life. I lost who I was, but now I'm found. Okay, so Amazing Grace is coming in. Again, I'm not trying to make this religious by any sense, but it's just interesting that the song would come in right now, right? I was lost once, but now I'm found. And it's, you couldn't, and looking at the lyrics, right? I was blind, but now I see. And that's what it is. It's like you were blinded by the world because you were following the construct, the societal construct. And they're still following the societal construct, and you've carved a path for yourself. Well, the path that you carve for yourself is full of unknowns and uncertainties and risks that a lot of these people would not take. But again, I don't feel like they're malicious towards you. I do feel like they try to manipulate you because of their concern and, again, projection. And some of them, I wish, like, it's almost like they're saying, I wish that I could just tell pile number 2 how I feel. But they also don't want to treat you that way because they do care about you. But they got a lot going on internally, and they're still comparing it to what they would do for themselves. And part of that's, I would never take the risks that pile number 2 is taking. I could never just walk away from my life and hope that things work out, because I would be so worried that they wouldn't, that I would rush right back into something that I knew was stable or something that I knew was working. even if it wasn't. And so this is how the people in your life see you. They see you as someone who's taking risks, someone who's being a leader, someone who's stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is admirable. But it's also incredibly scary to those that are holding on to old ways of life, tooth and nail. And that's where they're at right now. They're just holding on to these old ways of life so strongly. And they don't see the reward like you do. You felt the reward, and that was enough, right? Like the artist doesn't paint for money. The artist paints for freedom. And that's why I feel like it started with music, because again, a musician doesn't create music for money. A musician creates music for freedom. It's freedom of expression. It's freedom to be seen in your most vulnerable and raw state. In a moment when you're truly in divine connection, you get to share that with others in a very beautiful way. And the money was never the reason for chasing this. And I feel like that's exactly where you're at in this as well. The money was never what was the inspiration for going towards this. The inspiration came because it set a passion within you. So we have the sun in Aquarius here, yeah, with idealism, doing something completely unique, very different from everyone else, right? And you might have your sun in Aquarius, and that's something that's also unsettling for a lot of people, because Aquarians do things differently. They don't see the world like the rest of the world does. They see it as a playground for change and for expressing oneself in a unique way. And how can I change myself so that I can better feel like I am who I am, right? From an authentic place. And then we have the Venus in Leo with affair. Yeah, it's like a risk of being caught with the affair card here, right? That's what this feels like here. It's like they're saying, or they what they're not going to say is that they feel like you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught in a bad situation. You're going to get caught and not have anybody to run to. You're going to get caught and you're the one that's going to suffer from this. They're not seeing the potential for success. They're seeing the potentials for failure. But I, again, feel like they don't want to vocalize that because these are people who do care about you. Yin energy. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio with intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. They do see you as someone who is very trusting and maybe patient to a fault, right? But also I feel like this is source coming in that because you're moving into that state of receiving what is yours, there's no reason for you to panic, to keep trusting that feel-good feeling that you're getting. The North Node is a very uncomfortable place for us to move to, but it's where we're meant to go, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Yeah, Cancer, yeah, they really care about you. These people really do care about you. And you might be like, well, it doesn't sound like they care about me, but they do. Like, they're caring for you the only way they know how. We have nurture, comfort, and protection. Again, it's for your protection. They don't want to see things fall apart. They don't want to see you get hurt. They don't want to see things, go awry in your life because they've seen you broken, or they've seen you down, or they've seen you in a situation of being hurt, How are you going to rise up again? Camel. Yeah. Trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. And again, I just feel like Source is reminding you that keep trusting the process. Trust that everything is going to work out for your highest good, right? It doesn't make it easy. And I feel like, that my mom was given a plaque when she got sick. And it said, faith doesn't make things easy, but it makes things possible. And I feel like that's such a powerful saying because it's a reminder that faith isn't giving us an ease of life, but faith is giving us a road to hope, right? A road to knowing that anything we can do in our minds, we can achieve in the physical. We just have to have faith and trust. And that's not easy. The unknown is not an easy place to stay at. So Falcon with Peregrine, yeah, the third eye. Act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without, what is this? Equivocation. I'm not sure what that says. Equivocation? Like basically don't look back. Basically, don't look back. Don't worry about it without qualms. And that's exactly what you've done. And that's how the people in your life see you. They see you as taking a risk without considering the risk itself. But I feel like you've considered the risk itself, but the benefits far outweighed the risk. It's in the direction that you're going. Yeah. Fred Fox with strategy here. And I think that's the other thing. They kind of misinterpret your intelligence at times. Like they underestimate your wisdom. They underestimate your abilities. They're thinking from their own self. This is not something that I would be able to figure out. So how would pile 2 be able to figure it out? Well, they never asked. So if they're never going to ask, they're never going to know. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. I feel like your journey, your North Node, is stepping into a state of helping others forgive at a very deep level, whatever that may be. And part of that's come from the torture, the hardships and the hurt that you've experienced in your own life, the suffering that you've gone through, and you had to forgive a lot of situations which set you free. And I feel like the people in your life, how do the people in your life see you but won't say is this, is they see you as someone who is so strong and so amazing for being able to forgive the way that you did. But now to share that with others, again, they see that as it's too much of a risk. There's no way to grow in that. How are you going to make it in that? Because they can't see in their mind's eye the potential for this. Look at this. Scorpio, face your feelings. Yeah. So this is you sharing emotional wisdom with others. And maybe even the people in your life have benefited from the things that you've done and the healing that you've gone through, and they've grown because of it too. But a lot of people who benefit from our growth and who benefit from the gifts that we have, they appreciate that. And I feel like sometimes too, there's this energy where they can't see beyond that. Well, it helped me, of course, because I love you. You're my friend, or I really care about you. You know, you're my family, or you're one of my peeps, or whatever it is, right? It's like, of course it's going to help me because I'm taking you seriously. But it's almost as if they've judged the whole world out there to not take you seriously. They don't believe that the world is capable of taking you seriously. So in some way, shape, or form, what does that actually mean? Does it mean that there's a part of them that doesn't take you seriously too? And then we have to remind ourselves that regardless, we don't have to focus on that because it's not really our business. No matter how close this person is to us, no matter how much we love this person, that's their bit to deal with. Ours is to focus on what we're being called to do and to trust in that process. Yeah, the 10th house, keep it professional. This is a part of your destiny. This is exactly what you're meant to do. And I feel like you're doing that too, keeping it professional, going towards what feels right for you as well. Without reward, but the reward is something so much bigger than the monetary gain that you're receiving. I feel like you're receiving reward that is very spiritual and healing for you. And that's enough. Money will come. It always does. But it doesn't have to be the one thing that we hold on to. And I feel like the people in your life right now, that's the one thing that they're worried about the most is the money. That's the one thing that they're focused on the most is the money. And you're not. And that they don't understand that. Okay, so you had a group of these come out. We have difference. A different road, a different future, a different choice, a different destiny. You're on a different path than they are. And that's okay. Reject, yeah. Negation, never, forbidden, taboo. What you're doing is taboo. And maybe because the people in your life have been rejected for trying to chase or pursue their own dreams. And so they just don't want anybody else to go through that rejection. But we can't save another person from that rejection by trying to diminish their dream. That's not how that works. The only thing that we can do is be present with them if rejection happens. That's all we can do. But some people, they really believe that if I step out of myself and I come over and I tell you, hey, don't do that because this, and this is going to happen. And then they don't do that. They believe that they're saving someone, but really all they're doing is diminishing their light. they're preventing them from going forward. They're having some form of control in their life based on their own experience, but they might not see it that way, right? Like you think about being a parent. If you're a parent, I'm sure you can understand this perfectly, right? You want to protect your kids. You want to make sure they never experience heartbreak, hurt, pain, suffering. You know, you don't want them to have a broken bone. You don't want them to get hurt while they're out playing around. So what do? Do you just keep them inside all the time in a bubble? As much as you wish that you could, there's also a part of you that realizes that if they don't go and experience life, they're not going to get the experience that they need to face life when they're ready to leave the nest, right? And so it's that same type of energy, but people sometimes they can't step away from that. And so you get very controlling friends or very controlling outcomes with people. It's not because they don't love you. It's because they love you so much. They want to keep you as safe as possible. And that means that I'm going to squash everything that could potentially hurt you. Not realizing that it's that very energy that is what's hurting you. Destiny, yeah. Responsibility, road, and shackles. Like you have a choice to move away from the restriction itself. And this is a part of your destiny. So it's like even the people in your life feel like you're destined for this, but they don't want to see you get hurt. And so they're doing their best to put a cage around you. So we have sunset with aging, fade, and decline. So there's something here that's closing out in this chapter of life. And I feel like success is already yours. And it's not about the monetary gain. It's about the fact that if you feel fulfilled, that's the success. That's wisdom. Evolution. Look at this. Transformation, reinvent, and new beginnings. Yeah, there's an evolution that's coming to you on your journey. And there's no denying that you've changed. No matter how much maybe these people are trying to protect you. Interesting. Let's get a couple of these. The Pantha Oracle out here. To the people in your life, how do they see you but won't say? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Okay. I'm going to wait. I'm going to show you this one that flipped over in just a second. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have homeless. Yeah. They don't want you to be the starving artist. This is what they're more afraid of than anything else. And they're not going to say it. So they're like trying to drop hints everywhere they go. What if I'm not around to help? Or what if you don't have this to help you, right? Failure, castaway, and poor. Like they don't want you to suffer. Again, it's not coming from a place of maliciousness. It's not. It's coming from a place of fear and what love they're capable of giving. But the love that they're giving you is being driven by fear. And that is something that's really, really difficult, right? Because it's like they're doing their best to protect you, not realizing that they're hindering you. Okay, this card popped out, and it was kind of interesting to me that it popped out, but we got the curse card came out. Okay, so we have hate, catastrophe, and misfortune. Don't get it twisted, okay? This is not that you're cursed or anything like that. It's just that this is them saying, we don't want misfortune to come into your life. We don't want you to go through a catastrophe. We don't want people to hate you. Like if you're putting yourself out in the world, there's trolls all over. Okay, they just exist. It's just especially in the day and age that we're in now with technology. There are these people who just feel like they have a right to attack others just for the sake of attacking them because they're in a place of misery and they want to bring others down. And so this could have been something that the people in your life have gone through themselves, and they don't want you to go through it either. So they're doing their best to prevent you from going down that path. But again, it's always going to be your choice. Your path is your path, and you're the only one that can walk it. No one can walk it for you, which also means that the only one that can ever stand in your way truly is you. If you choose to believe that they're right and you're wrong, that's you standing in your own way. Responsibility. Right. It is your responsibility. Was I not just saying that with Meerkat? It's your path. You're the only one responsible for walking the path. No one else can do that. Envy. I am the same as everybody else, but with different challenges. And I feel like envy is maybe a play here where it's like, oh, how did they get such a cool path? How did they get such a cool gift? But it's interesting because I feel like honestly this envy goes hand in hand with this curse energy. I feel like this is something that the people in your life are really trying to prevent you from having to face. People who are jealous, people who are envious, people who are going to be trolls, people who are going to do this, people who are going to say this. Like they don't want to see you crying because of the cruelness of the world. They're doing their best to save you from that. Yeah, health. Exercise, diet, sleep, meditation, or mental relaxation. They're doing this for your health. They don't want to see your mental health decline. They don't want to see your physical health decline because of how cruel people can be. But again, we can't save ourselves from the world. We just have to experience the world and do our best to prepare for whatever might come. But part of that comes from experiencing what might come. There are some really crazy energies in this world. Some are really good and some are really, really low vibrational energies, you know? And everybody at some point in time is going to have their fair share of intermingling with both. Not because anybody deserves it, not because anybody did something wrong. It's just because that's the world. You don't know who you're meeting at any one given moment, but the truth is that it'd be impossible. Not everybody is destined to just integrate with high vibrational energies. Not everybody is destined to just integrate with low vibrational energies. We're meeting all those scale and varieties at all times. Imagination, variety, yeah, variety, fantasy, and mind. And so I feel like that's the other thing is like they're trying to convince you that this is a fantasy, or they want to convince you that this is just a fantasy, that it's all in your mind, right? Like what you're seeing is not something that can really come to fruition, but that's not true. You have to walk that path to find out. Daydream, yeah. Optimism, illusion, delirious. Yeah, that you're delirious right now, right? That you're in a state of illusion. You're not seeing the truth for what it is. But what if you're the only one that's seeing the truth? Justice, equality, neutrality, and logic. Yeah, and so they're coming from a very logical place in their mind. But also I feel like Source is just reminding you that justice will be yours. Like, things will balance out. It's just a matter of time. All right, so let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. The Eagle. Seeing things from a higher perspective. And I feel like that's a lot of the people in your life. They feel like you see things from a really high perspective. Again, I feel like many of them have benefited from the gifts that you have, the talents, the skills that you have. And they love that about you. But they're not seeing from your perspective because they can't lift themselves up that high. You know, an eagle is one of the birds that flies the highest in the world. No other bird can go up there and fly up there with the eagles. They just can't. It's suffocating, right? So that's where they're coming from. It's like, even though I'm trying to fly as high as you are, pile number 2, I'm still getting suffocated. I have to come back down to reality. I have to come back down to what I know is real. But for you, it's a whole nother world. There's a whole nother reality that you're experiencing being the eagle. And it's powerful. Let's see what the eagle says. What a day. This is like, seriously, what a day. Also, I kept seeing the hawk earlier when I was shuffling. It was the eagle and the hawk kept coming out together. So you might resonate with hawk energy as well. Or that might be your totem. Or the eagle might be your totem. All-pervading power is what the eagle says. The truth seeker. Yeah. Transforms karma. Yeah, that's what this feels like. You're transforming your karma. Like you healed from something so profound and now you're transforming it into something that works for you. The noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. So when in balance, you're bright, radiant, and you challenge. You challenge the system. You challenge the people around you, not because of maliciousness, but because of your higher perspective thinking. When out of balance, you can be controlling. Look at this. To bring into balance, step into the unknown. And that's what we've talked about this entire time, was stepping into the unknown with the North Node being present in your reading. What an incredible, incredible energy you have. And I know that this can be disheartening when it's like, well, I just wish that they would cheer me on. I wish I could say a prayer that was strong enough that made the people who love us truly see that we are capable of everything. But unless a person wants to believe that for themselves, there's just no changing that for them. And so that's why it's so important for us, pile number 2, to become our own cheerleaders, to see our own potential and to believe in our own worth, our value, and our abilities. Because if we don't do that for ourselves, we can never, ever, ever ask another person to do that for us. And so I feel like for you, Source is just reminding you that you have such amazing potential. Trust that. Trust the path, and trust that you are capable of manifesting anything that you want. You're an incredible person. Okay, so this is what I see here for you, pile number 2. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little eagle emoji down below and say, by soaring to new heights, not only am I tapping into a new reality, I'm opening myself up to a whole new world that I will exist in this present moment. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly magnificent reading today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the South Node on it, or perhaps you were called to this feather, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what do the people in your life think about you but won't say. Now, I'm going to get there with the question soon. I've been struggling with this question, even though it's a channel message. I have said it in every way possible. It is, how do the people in your life see you but won't say? Really quickly, I'll do my intro in just a second, but I really want to say, like, there's this channel message where people are like stumbling over how to talk to you, how to approach you. It's almost like, you know, the people that rewrite a text message 100 times just to say the right thing, to say the perfect thing. And they think that if they don't say the perfect thing, that you'll somehow judge them or you will walk away from them. I don't personally feel like you're a very judging person at all. Like, I feel like you're very open and receiving of people and you want them to show up as they are. But you give this energy off where it's like people want to match that. And unless they've done the healing, like, there's no possible way to match that. And so their ego is always saying, like, well, you have to do better. You have to be better. You have to be perfect. And so there's a lot of times when it's like people actually don't say what they want to say because they're afraid of how you're going to view them, which is why I've been struggling with the question right now, trying to get it out the right way. So, all right, intro. We are all here sharing this human experience together. And this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. I do things differently here on this channel, if you couldn't tell. With that being said, if the message does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Now, triggering statements may arise on the readings themselves, so there's no obligation to force it to fit, and remembering that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. Your time and your energy are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm honored to be spending this time with you today. So with that, let's dig in a little bit deeper to this message and find out, how do the people in your life see you but won't say? So how do the people in your life see you but won't say? Source, what would you like to share with us today? How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Pile number 3. Yeah, I really feel like there's people here who have something to say to you, but they're afraid to say it the way that they want to. They think that they have to, like, in some ways mirror you. And so they're not being, like, it just really feels like they're not able to say what they authentically want to say because they're afraid that you're gonna walk away, or you're gonna think they're weird, or you're gonna think they're strange. Like, that's so strong coming in right now. Okay, so we've got the 6th house, Libra energy. Yeah, very superficial energy. We've got and we've got Venus coming in for you. Now, this could be coworkers. It really could be. But I feel like this is also referring to your daily routines. Like, you're just very clear about how you're going about your routines. And you're very clear about what it is that you're doing with your day-to-day, energetically, how you're showing up for yourself and even for others, you know. Like, look, there's certain things that take priority, and you make those a priority. No matter what. There's certain things that are priorities. So that could be like meditation, your physical health. That could be, you know, I feel like this is like health overall. So spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, all that encapsulated into one. That is a priority for you. Self-care is a priority for you. You know, valuing and your self-worth. That is valuing yourself and self-worth. Those are all priorities for you. And I feel like the people in your life right now, they see that. But they're also coming from a very shallow place that is of fear. Like, they like that you value yourself. They like that you're seeing your worth. But also this fear of, if I can't match that step for step, then pile number 3 is going to want nothing to do with me. So they're seeing it from their own insecurities. And that's keeping them feeling small and very surface level. They're not seeing the depth that could potentially open up with this connection or with you if they allow it. But the people in your life, they see you as very abundant, magnetic, very loving, very giving, very open. And there's this fear that's coming in as well, that like, I can't tell pile 3 that I'm afraid I'm not as giving as they are. I'm afraid I'm not as abundant as they are. I'm afraid I'm not as grounded as they are, or that I don't see myself the same way they see themselves. And I feel like for you, it's never been about that. Just show up authentic. Whether you're on the same level as me or not, just show up authentic. That's where your power comes from. But it's hard when people feel this internally and they don't vocalize it, so that, you know, you can come to some sort of compromise or come to some sort of balanced situation here. But with Libra, I do feel like you're very harmonious by nature. Like, you want things to be equal give and take, and you see both sides very, very clearly. And so I feel like there's a huge part of you that understands where they're at as well. But how can you discuss it if they're not saying it, right? I keep hearing that secrets don't make friends, but it's like, I also understand why you're keeping it secret. Like, there's this, like, people say it's non-committal. This is the one thing about Libras. People say Libras are non-committal, and I can understand that as well. But when a Libra commits, they're in 100%. Okay, like that. I've had tons of Libras in my life. I love Libra energy. It's just something that always will draw me in. It could be because my midhaven 10th house is in Libra, but I love Libras. I've had Libra and family members and friends and so on and so forth. And Libras, they see everything from a very diplomatic place. It's almost political. It is almost political, but it's also very unique because they're not really taking sides. So they're willing to break down both sides, which is something I think we need more of in the world. And I feel like that's exactly the type of energy that you have. Like, you're willing to break down both sides. It's not non-committal. This is something where you're willing to, like, okay, if you tell me where you're coming from or how you feel, like, then we can discuss it. we can grow from that instead of letting that be a block or a barrier between us. I do think the people in your life right now, they're pretty supportive of you, but they're still coming from their own closed off mindsets. And that's, you know, you can't force healing onto another person. But I do feel like you're just a very fair person. You're very considerate. Also, I'm getting this energy that you might be the moderator. Like, you're the person who who everybody comes to, like if there's an argument or something like that, they all come to you. And I feel like they wish that they could say to you that they were that way too, that they didn't have to rely on you to mediate the situations that they go through or the hardships that they're in, or be the peacekeeper. I feel like it's just something that's second nature to you. You don't even have to think about it. You just see the whole situation as it is. And so there's a little bit of jealousy here from some people in your life because they wish that they had that, but they're also incredibly grateful to you as well. Like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to pile 3, but man, I don't know what I would do if pile 3 wasn't around. All right, so let's find out some more. All right. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Source, what would you like to share with us for pile number 3? Yeah. I also feel like you may have, before we look at the bottom of the deck, I feel like you may have a lot of, and you might not, but it feels like you have a lot of money, or they're seeing you as someone who has a lot of money. And there are some people here who feel like when you spend your money, they want to say that you're spending it frivolously. But I also feel like they don't say it because there's times when you spend frivolously on them. Like acts of service or gifts might be your love language. And so they definitely benefit from you having the money you have. So, but when they see you spending it on others, there's like that's where the jealousy's at. Okay, I see it. I see it now. They're jealous that you're spending it on others. Like, I want to be that person. Why can't I be the person they're taking to dinner tonight? Why can't I be the person they're treating out? Why can't I be the one that gets that benefit? Why can't I? Right? So it's a very self-centered thing. But they also appreciate you a lot. And it's not about what you can give to them. I just feel like there's a lot of people here who just want your energy for themselves. And they don't get it to themselves. You're quite the social butterfly. And if you don't feel like you're quite the social butterfly, just kind of look at your circle. Like, are you able to talk with anybody, have a conversation with anybody? And I think that's where it comes from. It's like, even if they're not your friends, like you're able to integrate and mingle with anybody that's around you. And people are immediately blessed by your presence. They just really feel good when you're in their energy, and they really feel good when you're around. And so there's a lot of people here who I think in your life, what they think about you, but they won't say, is that you just spend money willy-nilly on whatever it is that you want, but you're not doing it in a productive way. And at the end of the day, pile 3, your money is your money. Like, I wish people understood that, but it's so weird that so many people don't. Like, they just really think like, oh no, they should be spending it on this. They should be spending it on this. And it's like, worry about your own finances first before going and worrying about another person's finances. And unless you're a financial advisor, like, really, why should anybody listen? Like, honestly, that's just that energy of how I feel about it. And I feel like that's what it's coming down to. It's like there's some people here who want to say how you should be spending your money, but see, here's the thing. If they had a say in it, it would be putting you in dire straits. Like, it wouldn't be beneficial for you because it would only be beneficial for them. But they don't see it that way. Yeah, self-sabotage. Okay. Let's look at your cards. There's a lot of people here already. Yeah. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? They see you as lacking boundaries when boundaries are necessary. Like, emotionally, you give to people willy-nilly. That's why I was saying, like, the social butterfly energy. That's what I'm getting with the 7 of Cups in the reverse here. It's the social butterfly energy where you might help a lot of people. Or, like, say maybe you see a homeless person on the side of the road and you stop and you give them money if you have money. Or maybe you went and bought food and you have extra food and you're like, hey, here, I have extra food. Here you go. Or you might not eat and give them your food. Or you have like water on the seat next to you and you give them a water. Or you give them a coffee you just bought. Or you see them and you go out of your way to buy them something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like here. And that's the example that they're giving me here. And the people in your life see that as frivolous. They see that as pointless. And for you, that's an act of kindness. Like I was saying, acts of service might be your love language. Like you're seeing it as helping someone else out. No matter what their story is, right now they're in dire straits. And if I can do something to ease that, then I'm doing something good. And that feels good to you. That feels beneficial to you. Everyone else is judging this person before they even know their story. Like they don't even know what their background is. And they're immediately saying, oh, they're drunk, or oh, they're a drug addict. You're just feeding their laziness or whatever it is. And that's not how you see it. And so, and it comes from that energy where it's like you're giving to people willy-nilly, but they're not getting that themselves. And it's like, because I don't feel like for these people that you would actually just hand over like $100 bill. Just here you go, here's $100, because the first time you did it, that would cause a chain reaction, and it would be expected regularly for you to hand over that money. And you've learned this. I feel like you've learned this just through life and just in general. Like you recognize, because maybe this is all that these people talk about is money, or maybe this is every time that you have treated these people out, like they're always putting it back on your shoulders. Like, well, you know, you treated me out here, so that means that you can take care of this bill too. Or you can do this, or you should do this, or, you know, like if you're like, hey, we should go out to eat, they're like, yeah, only if it's on your dime. Like they always put it on you. Like it's not about equal give and take. And I feel like it's frustrating for you because it's like there's this energy where, you know, if you would just see it as being kind instead of an obligation, then I might be willing to treat you even more. Because I feel like for you, spending money on the people you care about, that's no thing. Like, that's what this really feels like. And it doesn't have to be money. It could be love. It could be, you know, again, acts of service, helping them with things, helping them with their life, helping them with their house, helping clean, helping pick up. But the minute that something becomes an expectation, it starts to feel like a chore and not a service. And the minute it feels like a chore, it's lost its luster. And it becomes an obligation, and you don't like that. That feeling of obligation is something you don't like at all. And I feel like that's the thing that a lot of these people in your life have experienced, where they've made it an obligation for you. And because they made it an obligation for you, then they have lost access to that part of you that gives for acts of service, or just gives for gifts. And they're left over here like, well, why can't you give that to me? Or why can't you be that kind to me? Or why can't you help me in this way? It's like, because when I was, you never took, you always took it for granted, and you never saw it as kindness. You expected it. You saw it as an obligation. But I never would obligate you to doing this for myself. Like, I would never expect you to do this for myself. Because I feel like, I don't know, I keep seeing this image of like when the check's coming, you're the friend that's like, I'll pay. And like, it's just like, and so people that see you around you in your life, they see you as super abundant because you're always offering to pay. But for you, I feel like that's you saying like, this is my love for you. It's not like you're trying to buy love. That's not what this is. This is literally the love language of gifts and acts of service. That's what this feels like. It's like you're the one that goes out to eat. You're not holding this over anybody's head. It's not like you're going to come back next week and be like, hey, remember I treated you out to dinner last week, so when are you going to treat me? But that's exactly what some of these people do. And because they're doing that, these are the people who want to say that you're just spending money frivolously, willy-nilly on things that don't matter. But it's your money. It's your money. This is, okay. I can't with people like this. I can't. Yeah, like they're feeling left out, or like they have to start rebuilding with you again because they're missing out on the action. They're missing out on your fortune. They're missing out on your abundance here. You could have Sagittarius highly aspect in your chart. We have Jupiter, Sag, and Sag energy here. A lot of Sagittarius here. You know, and that doesn't surprise me. I could definitely see it. Most of the fire signs, like, they love acts of service and gifts. Like, fire signs live for stuff like that. And so you could have fire highly aspect in your chart. You don't have to. That's just a pattern I've noticed over the years and from the fire signs in my life as well. But I just feel like that's a thing here. It's like they want your bounty. That's what I'm hearing. It's like, but they want to say they want your bounty, but they also know that you're very quick to say your mind and your peace. Like, that's, look, That's not how this works. That's not where we can't go with that. But again, I also feel like that energy we were getting at the beginning where it's like you see both sides. Like you can understand where they're coming from too. Because I feel like they've put you in their very same shoes. So you're very clear on both sides of the story. And you like things to be balanced, but you're also not going to put yourself in a very awkward position where it's unbalanced. And so there's a lot of people here who have missed out on your gifts and your acts of service because they've backed you up against a corner and put you in an awkward position. And with the self-sabotage card here, it's not about you, it's them self-sabotaging themselves. And I feel like that's what Source wants to say in regards to this. It's like, I feel like you already know what some of these people would say to you because they may have already vocalized it in not so many words, right? They may be like, oh, so you're not going to treat me out to dinner anymore? They might have played it off as manipulation, trying to be like, oh, I'm hurt. The guilt trip side, that's what this feels like. And that's this energy. It's like, look, I would be more than willing to love and help and be there for you if you actually appreciated it. Saying thank you is not necessarily appreciating it because words can be incredibly empty. And I feel like for you, that's exactly where it's at. It's like, I feel like a lot of these people have said some empty words to you. They have said some empty essays. Let me say, this is the thing. It's like they've sent empty essays, page after page after page after page of emptiness to you, and you caught on. And now if they watch you give to other people, that's just a part of it. And it's like they're watching you and that's what they want to say is like, oh, you're just being, you're just being in this place of spending your money on things that don't matter. They matter to you, and that's all that matters. It's your money. If it matters to you, that's the only thing that should matter. It doesn't matter how other people see it because it's not anybody else's place to spend our dollars or our money, what we've earned, right? And there's so many people who fall into that. You ever get the people who ask you, well, how much do you get paid per hour? How many hours do you work a week? How much do they take out in taxes? How much is your end check? And what do you what bills do you have? And they're like adding it all up in their heads. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? And two, why are any of us sharing that in the first place? Right? Like, so just a little advice there. But that's what it feels like. It's like, it just feels like these are people who are adding it up in their heads. Like they're trying to figure out how much you've got, how much you can spend, and how much they can manipulate out of you. And that's what they want to say. They want to say they want your money. They want your abundance. They want your good fortune with the Wheel of Fortune here. Right? Yeah, I thought we were friends. I thought we were closer than that. I thought we were in this together. Right? I thought I had it like that with you, but maybe at one time you did, but when someone feels taken advantage of, that's a quick way out of that town real quick. Real quick. We're on the move. What do the people in your life think about you but won't say? Yeah, the Moon and Sag with optimism. You're a very optimistic person. See, and I feel like people have taken your kindness for weakness. And I think that's something they want to say too. Well, you're so kind that you're weak. My kindness is my strength. Because I know when and where to dish it out now. And I feel like that's where you're at. And again, these people they're getting the short end of the stick because that's the one they pulled. They put their stick in with the rest of the pile and they pulled their own stick, and they're mad that they pulled their own stick. Look. Or straw, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, Pluto transform. You've changed. You've changed, pile 3. You're different. You're not the same. Yeah. It's because they can't take advantage of you anymore. And they miss that. They miss taking advantage of you. So I do feel like there was a point in time in your life where some of these people really benefited from your abundance. I feel like you manifest money pretty easy, or you manifest, abundance pretty easily, or maybe you get a lot of coupons or something like that really easy. That's what it feels like. Like you're just always getting really good deals in places. And, you like to share that. You're the person that, while you will eat by yourself, maybe that's not necessarily what you like to do. You like to share it with others, So we have Falcon here. Yeah. Act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without equivocation. This song. We're going to get there. I feel like that's the thing. Like, you really trip people up. They don't know exactly how to approach you. Like, maybe before they were just very blatant and blunt about how they approached you. And now they won't say anything because you have a very sharp tongue, or because you're very honest in the approach that you have to them now. Because you had to be. You had to protect yourself. We have Panda. Create a sacred space for yourself in your home and or your place of work. Yeah, you've had to create safety for yourself. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There were a lot of people who tried to take advantage of you, and they might still be in your life. You know, they might have certain roles that they play in your life, or certain labels in your life, right? We have Platypus on the bottom. Stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. Like, I feel like that's what some, you want to say to some people. Like, would you stop complaining and focus on your own blessings? But they're too busy focused on your blessings. They're too busy focused on your abundance, what you got going on in your life. And some people, yeah, definitely, you're different. This is what they won't say. You've changed. Chameleon would change. Number 33 and your pile, number 3. So 333 is a very powerful number for you. Very creative now, very protected, very connected. You know what you want, but you're no longer trying to blend into the crowd. You're standing out. You've changed. You transformed into something that's more powerful, taking back your power, taking back your strength where maybe you left it with others. On the bottom, yeah, groundedness with number 7 here. Something that you were meant to do all along, to be grounded, to be immovable. Where I think people were benefiting from being able to kind of shove you along the way that they wanted to. And they can't do that anymore. And they miss that. And good, they're going to keep missing it. You never deserved it in the first place, pile 3. Gratitude, right. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So I do feel like that some people think and really feel like you are very grateful for what you have. Like, I do feel like there's some people here really excited that you're experiencing abundance, but there's the overwhelming energy here where somebody or a group of people that want to benefit from what you have. Like, that's really overwhelming in this reading. Imam Coeli, yeah, make peace with the past. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing now. You made peace with your past self. You realized that maybe you were a people pleaser or an overgiver. You know, and making peace with that has given you the strength to not be in that energy any longer. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Interesting. Okay. On the bottom, we have seagull. Cunning. Wow, what a word to come out, right? They see you as cunning. Perseverant, fearlessness, survival, and freedom. Yeah, so they do see you like living this free life. They see you as cunning. Like, no matter how they try to manipulate you, you always come back on top, right? The threat, the feud, the natural enemy, the deadly threat. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who are trying to feud with you, or they are an enemy, right? They're just a natural enemy because they want to benefit from you. So it's just some of the people in your life right now, they feel that way. They like want to benefit from you, and so they're trying to be a threat in your life to bend you to their will, and you're not bending. Why? Because you have faith in your journey. You have faith in yourself. You believe in yourself. You're following instructions for yourself, right? Instigation. You took your journey seriously. You're not looking back, right? Especially with the falcon coming out here. And then we have ring. Wow. Okay. So wedding token and bond. This could be a husband, a wife, a partner. This could be someone that's in the family again, like the ring, the family, right? Children, parents, whoever it is. It's someone that's close to you. Like, they really want this for themselves. They feel like they deserve it more than you. Look, I love the people. Let me just say, I love the people who feel like they deserve all the abundance in the world when they don't lift a finger. That is not how life works. No matter what, that is not how life works. It doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who have had that with that, happen in their own lives. That's just not the general public. We're not going to experience something like that. And whatever comes to us easily like that never sticks around. It can be taken away just as easily. How do the people in your life see you but won't say? Okay. So on the bottom, yeah, real estate, wealth, investment, and a mega project. They see you as someone who's incredibly wealthy. They see you as having money and this, like, maybe generational wealth that you're not sharing with them. It's almost as if they feel like you're downplaying your wealth, and maybe you are, but who gives a damn? Excuse the expression, but really, that's what, it doesn't matter. Again, it's none of their business. But it's like they're trying to make it their business, and that's what they want to say to you is like, well, it should be my business. But okay, list me 5 reasons as to why this should be your business, because I guarantee all 5 of those reasons are going to be self-centered and only involving what you want. Okay? We've got good news. Encouragement, miracle, and surprise. Yeah, they feel like you're always getting good news. Like things are coming together for you all the time, and they want to be a part of that, but they're not. Okay, so we've got Mars in Gemini, decisions. Look, we're not playing checkers. We're playing chess. That was something you figured out a long time ago. This is strategy. This is strategy that's coming out right now. And I feel like you had to strategize, like, how is this going to play out for me? Like, I have to make sure that I'm on top because I have to take care of myself. If I don't take care of myself, they've made it clear that they're not going to help me take care of myself. They're going to use me, and then they're going to throw me away at their convenience. And you have learned how to strategize. You've learned the moves that serve you the best. Checkmate, baby. We have Mercury in Capricorn with organization. Yeah. Again, strategize, organize, like you've made a plan for yourself and you're following that plan through. It's something that's very serious, but you're also realizing that this is the long haul, right? The harvest with the wheat here. You're planting the seeds for the harvest, and no one needs to know what that is. Earth. Persistence, patience, and practicality. Again, in the long haul. You're in this for the long haul. So it's like, regardless if you have what they think you have or you don't, you're recognizing that this is a lifetime journey, and I'm going to see where it takes me, and I don't have to reveal that to anyone. I also just noticed that this was 3rd house energy with the 33 here. So again, 333 coming out for you. Yeah, happiness. I am aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. Following your bliss, and that's exactly what you're doing. We have Jupiter. Yeah, you're so abundant right now. And even if you don't have a bank account full of zeros with the commas, right? Like, it doesn't matter. The thing is that you are attracting abundance into your life in many, many different ways because you give so much, and that's all coming back to you. It's all coming back to me now. Moments of light within her flashes of light. There were things we'd never do again, but then they'd always seem right. Okay, Celine Dion coming in. Yeah, go big or go home. Like, she has a massive voice. Anyways, like, that's the thing. Like, you recognize that everything that I've given is going to come back to me in a very profound way. And trusting that. Mars, jumping into action. Yeah, so you take action for what's good for you. You also balanced out the feminine and the masculine energies. I know this reading was about what they'd say to you, but honestly, I feel like you're very aware of where these people are right now in your life. And Source is just reminding you to keep moving forward because abundance is coming to you. And you are not required to share that with anybody. If you feel compassionately moved to do so, remember that is you, that you're feeling moved to do so. But it is not an obligation or a requirement. Fright, depression, phobia, paranoia. Yeah, so they're scared. They're scared that you pulled one over on them, that you have so much more than what you say, that you could help them with all their problems. Memory, because you used to. Remembrance, commemoration, reunion. Because you used to help them like that, and now you're not. And so now they're scared. Like, what if my life falls apart? Sometimes we just have to let people deal with their own problems. Like, sometimes that's just how it is. And it's hard. It's hard that they have to go through it like that. But we can't, we can't be the, the enabler. We can't be the enabler. And I feel like that's where you're at. It's like you're realizing I can't enable these people to just constantly rely on me because they don't want to figure out the solution to themselves, for themselves. So let's take a look at this card. We're going to read this from the book. Beaver, the hard worker. Now I understand why it kept coming up as money with beaver energy. Yeah, you're a hard worker. You're building something. And, you know, it's like, this is not something that's going to come overnight. This is something that's going to take a long time to build. This is something that's it's a lifelong journey for you. And you've committed to that. And you're okay with that. You're not trying to make it something else, right? Because you recognize that abundance comes from the hard work. So we have hard worker, loyal, tireless, and family first. See, and that's the thing. There might be family here that's not benefiting from you in that way anymore because they've shown their true colors. And that's what they want to say. Well, I thought you always said family first. Yeah, family first until it became a burden. You know, and that's no beef. The beaver personality is a welcome sight. These good-natured and dependable creatures have infinite love and enthusiasm for family and express it by the way of the earth element, providing a home and financial stability. Yeah, so that makes so much sense. Although a beaver doesn't usually initiate a project, once started, they'll work steadily for weeks, months, or years to see it through. The beaver card appears when the task at hand requires your long-term, steady effort. We're saying that this is a lifelong endeavor. It can also signify that it's time for some karma yoga, selfless service. Acts of service. What a confirmation. What? It says, when in balance, you're happy and you do meaningful work. When out of balance, you can feel useless or worn out. To bring into balance, physical labor or selfless service. Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly why I was feeling that energy so strongly earlier, because that's such a confirmation. Thank you so much, sir, so much. But that's how you're constantly bringing yourself into balance, is by giving to others, doing little acts of service for others. I feel like somewhere along the way, maybe if you haven't noticed that balances you out, it's just something you get called to do every once in a while or frequently. But it is something that balances out your energy because you are exuding that beaver spirit right now. And that might be a totem for you as well, something to definitely check out. But what a powerful energy that you have. And it's so frustrating that you have to be surrounded by people who want to take advantage of you. But remember that you are only ever obligated to take care of yourself. And you're not here to share your booty with the world. And I mean that pirate booty, okay? I mean that. Like, you're not required. It's something you do out of the kindness of your heart. It is never an obligation. And I feel like there's some people here who turned it into an obligation for you, and that is not fair. But what a powerful energy that you have, and what a kind heart that you have as well, Pile 3. I'm truly honored I got to connect with you. This is what I see here for you. If you felt like this was your reading, is there a beaver emoji? If there's a beaver emoji, leave a beaver emoji. If not, leave a cow. We'll get, because I know there's a cow. leave either the beaver or the cow emoji down below and say, through hard work, patience, perseverance, and my acts of service, I align with my highest good and I draw to me my abundant life now. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. With that, I'd like to take a moment to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, Pile number 3, stay human. Bye.